Referrals can significantly increase your chances of landing an interview or getting a callback for software engineers. In the past, I've released a video talking about my experience of getting hired at Tesla. And in that video, I talked a little bit about getting referrals for every application that I've put in with the company. Ever since I released that video, people have been asking me to do a follow-up on how I go about getting referrals. And in this video, I'm going to break it down into a 3-step system that I use to get referrals for tech jobs. Before we hop into the details of getting a referral, let's first discuss why referrals matter right now. Currently, the market for software engineers, especially junior software engineers, is very cold, which means if you're a recruiter or an engineer on the other end reviewing resumes for an open position, you will probably get thousands of people applying to that job. And most of them are probably not even qualified, but nonetheless, you have a lot of noise and you have to figure out how to pick the best people from a pile of resumes to interview, because you cannot give everybody equal amount of attention. So you have to choose which ones are going to get the callbacks. And knowing that somebody put their stamp of approval, quote unquote, on a resume makes your job a little bit easier. You already know that, hey, somebody at this company trusts this person to some extent. So they're more likely to pick that resume from the pile first and look at it. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to lead to a callback or an interview necessarily. Your resume and everything else has to be right still, but it does give you a little bit of an advantage, which is especially important right now. The best referral is from somebody you already know, because not only it's the easiest and most natural for you to ask them for a referral, but also because many applicant tracking systems will ask a person referring you to talk about you. In some cases, it may be a mini survey questionnaire, or it could be write a paragraph about this person's character or something along those lines. And when a person has worked with you in the past, or maybe has gone to college with you, or just knows you for a long time, it is much easier for them to go ahead and answer those questions. And those answers will carry the most weight when they say, I've known this person for this many years, and maybe we've worked on a project together. It's just overall the best way to get a referral. So always start by looking in your personal network, the people that are closest to you, and see if any of them happen to work at a company you are applying to. If you do not have a direct connection at the company that you're interested in, your second best option is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an excellent tool for securing a referral, and I've used that a lot in the past with plenty of success. What I do is I start by searching for a company that I'm interested in, and then LinkedIn will show you connections that you have something in common with that work at that company. And it's much easier to reach out to these people when you have at least one thing in common. For example, they might be an alum of the same university, or they may have worked at the same company as you in the past, or perhaps they have a common connection with you who could give you a warm introduction. I have had really good success with LinkedIn. Most people are receptive and willing to help. From the other perspective, when I get a referral request on LinkedIn, it's the best platform for me to evaluate that candidate and see if they match the job requirements, if they're a good fit for the company, and possibly put in a referral. Without LinkedIn, this process would be a lot more difficult. And unfortunately, I don't know of any other platform that's better than LinkedIn for getting referrals at the moment. That's my second favorite way for getting a referral. And I always recommend people to keep their LinkedIn up to date and continue networking on there, because getting referrals is one of the biggest benefits of that platform. And that leads me to my third way of getting referrals. If I couldn't find anybody to refer me for a job either in my personal network or on LinkedIn, that indicates to me that something is off about my professional network. Career development is a marathon, it is not a sprint. It takes time to build it out, and it's a worthwhile investment in my opinion. So what I do in this third step is I start thinking about how can I develop my network such that next time I'm applying to this company, I do have a referral there. And what I can recommend is start participating in clubs and professional organizations. Join meetups that align with your interest. Stay in touch with your current connections because you never know if they may end up at that company of your interest. And lastly, you could look into contributing to different projects, open source, that kind of stuff that could also help you build your network. Now, this approach is not tied to a specific company, but generally building meaningful relationships with people across various organizations will open doors for future opportunities for you. Remember that getting a referral is not a hard skill, it's a soft people skill, but just like any skill, you could practice it and get better at it over time. And for all my introverts out there, I still encourage you to go ahead and network and build relationships with people because it will serve you in the long run. You cannot be only focusing on your hard tech skills. Definitely incorporate networking and relationship building to improve your career trajectory. To recap, I use these 3 steps for getting a tech job referral. First, I always look in my direct network of people that I personally know, not only because it's the easiest for me to ask them for a referral, but also because they are the most qualified to speak on my behalf, and I could trust them to do that when they're putting in a referral. 2, I look in my LinkedIn network and see if I can find connections who have something in common with me and try to ask them for a referral. If both of those methods fail, then I resort to method number 3, in which case I go ahead and apply for the job and then figure out a way to improve my professional network such that next time I'm applying for a job at that company, I do have somebody in my network that is able to refer me. If you follow this 3-step system for getting a referral, you should be able to secure referrals for most of the jobs you're applying to. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about how to ask for a referral on LinkedIn when you outreaching to somebody that you don't already know. Cold outreach is a little bit tricky. There are good ways to go about it and there are bad ways to go about it. And if you're interested in that content, definitely hit the subscribe button and I will see you in the next one.